Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about Lunch Counter and the boards I surfed there during the 2020 season. First off, let's talk about the wave. Lunch Counter is a very fast and steep wave. To catch it, you just jump off a rock onto your belly and you go directly onto the wave. Very easy to catch. Once you catch it, you pop up and you surf what's a very nice corner. It actually feels like an ocean wave, like a right. And at certain levels, the entire thing will green up and you'll be able to make big turns on either side of this thing. At lower levels and higher levels, the wave flattens out a bit and gets a little bit greener, it makes it a little bit harder to surf on a shorter board, but if you use a bigger board that's a little bit faster, you can still surf it. The swim out of Lunch Counter is actually pretty exciting. Once you fall off the wave, you swim through another wave behind it, then a couple of wave train waves, and then you hit a section that's full of whirlpools that will actually suck and hold you underwater while you're holding your board and wearing a PFD. They never hold you for very long, but it can make getting to the eddy a lot more exciting. So let's talk about the boards. My least favorite board this year was the Lost High Performance Puddle Jumper, made by LibTech. This is the 5.4 version. This board caught the wave fine, surfed it well. It actually held a ton of speed between turns. I enjoyed actually surfing this board on the wave, but once I fell off the wave and started to swim to shore, this board just didn't have enough volume to help me get to shore. I would be paddling it for the eddy, and all of a sudden one of the whirlpools would just suck this board underwater and just disappear from underneath me. Now I do wear a PFD, so my connection of the board isn't quite as good. Maybe the PFD floated me more than the board, but I just didn't enjoy paddling this board in the river downstream of the wave. Next up, I have the Lost Freak Leg Beanbag made by LibTech. This is a 510. This board, it was very easy to catch the wave, very easy to pop up on. It's got plenty of volume. This board surfed the wave fairly well at low levels and high levels. So once the wave started flattening out, this wave was still able to surf and was able to surf more of the wave, more of the width of the wave than a lot of shorter boards would be able to. The problem that I found was that I didn't really turn as fast as I wanted to, and on Lunch Counter it's really fun to make these really snappy turns off the lip, but this board is just a little bit too wide and wants to make a little bit more slower and drawn out turns. And unlike Montana, I really wasn't able to get this thing to spin either. Lunch Counter is a little bit harder to spin boards on, and this board just felt a little bit too big to do that well. On the swim out of the wave though, I really enjoyed this board. It has a ton of volume. It made getting to the eddy very easy. I don't think I went for any really long swims around the corner on this board. And where it was really nice was at the higher end of the range. So when the flows were a little bit higher than optimal and the swims typically get a little bit longer, this board made those swims really easy. Next I have another Lost board. This is the Puddle Jumper, the original. Again, made by LibTech. This is the 5.3 version. This board surfed very similar to the High Performance Puddle Jumper, but I was able to paddle it much better. So once I fell and swam for the eddy, this board was able to float me just a little bit more, so I had the confidence to make it to the eddy. Never had this board slip out from under me or get sucked down by a whirlpool. I always felt very connected with this board. Still, on the wave when I was surfing, similar to the High Performance board, felt very fast, made great turns, held a lot of speed through those turns. I've enjoyed surfing this board at Lunch Counter for several years now, and I still enjoy it quite a bit. And rounding out the LibTech boards, lastly, I got the pickup stick. This is the 6.6. I actually enjoyed surfing this more than the Freak Leg Beanbag. I felt like on this board, once I was surfing it, I was able to surf it off the tail and just hang out back there. And I felt like it made better turns than the Beanbag, which is kind of strange because it's longer, so it seems like it would have more swing weight. But I just enjoyed it more. And I was able to surf it a little bit like a longboard, just shuffling up and down on the board, trying to do cross steps and things like that. And the way that lunch counter is set up, it has this nice shoulder, so you can kind of sit out there and pretend like you're surfing an ocean wave. And this board really made it feel like that as well. Again, because it has more volume, similar to the Beanbag, it made the swims very easy. It was also able to surf the wave at higher and lower levels than the other boards that I have here. So this board, I think, is kind of an ideal board for kind of the edges of the flow range. So when it gets really low and really high, and of course when it's really high and the swims get really long, this board at 6'6" made getting to the eddy very easy. I don't think I went for any long swims when I used this board at lunch counter. So a lot of fun to surf at all levels, especially if you kind of like the longboard feel. Really, really good once it kind of hit the edges of the range, and great for those high levels where you don't want to go for a long swim. And the last board here, and my favorite at lunch counter for 2020, is the Strong Water Runt Epoxy 5 foot. I found this board to be perfect for me and my style of riding. It was able to catch the wave very well, very easy to pop up on, extremely user-friendly on this wave. This extra volume not only helped with the swim out of the wave, but also helped when the wave kind of foamed up a little bit more. A lunch counter can be very dynamic, and sometimes it's very green, sometimes it's very foamy. This extra foam helped the board stay on the wave even when it was kind of getting bogged down in the foam. I found this board made great turns, snappy off the lip, and then I also had a ton of fun spinning this board in all different directions on lunch counter. I had so much fun like learning how to side surf, spin both front side and back side, surf it backwards for extended periods of time. It was just kind of perfect for my style of riding. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Lunch counter is where I first demoed this board, and I loved it there when I first demoed it years ago. So I'm not too surprised that it turns out that I really enjoy this board at lunch counter. It really worked really well there. But yeah, I've struggled with this board on other ways, but lunch counter, I think this board is pretty perfect. The 5 foot version was great for me. I think you could probably size up or down and still have a ton of fun at lunch counter with this board. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Next, I think I'm going to talk about some small waves in Golden.